Liebe Freunde des Magazins, liebe Kollegen, herzlich willkommen hier zu unserer Eröffnung der Ausstellung Wheels of Fortune Chukudu. Ganz besonders begrüßen möchte ich Teun Voeten und seinen Sohn Sebastian, nicht zuletzt. Es ist eine Ehre, dass der Autor dieser Bilder zu uns gekommen ist, aus seiner Heimatstadt Brüssel. Und ich möchte ein paar Worte über Teun Voeten sagen, bevor er uns zum zentralen Objekt Chukudu was erzählt, was zur Historie seiner Entdeckung und nicht zuletzt auch zur Historie dieses Originalprodukts, was hier steht, was er sehr kürzlich und sehr spontan für uns organisieren konnte. Der studierte Anthropologe Teun Voeten hat als Fotograf einen speziellen Blick auf die Welt. Und er fängt Bilder von außerordentlicher Eindringlichkeit ein, die einen sehr berühren, die einen gefangen nehmen. Und ich kann nur sehr empfehlen, sein Werk zumindest auf seiner Seite, wenn nicht im Original, zumindest auf seiner Internetseite zu betrachten. Teun Voeten schaut sehr exakt hin. Er lässt sich von Brennpunkten und Krisengebieten regelrecht anziehen, besucht diese auf teilweise abenteuerliche Weise und betrachtet und beobachtet die Menschen dort. So hat er in den letzten Jahren das auseinanderbrechende Jugoslawien, Haiti, Bagdad, Kolumbien, Sierra Leone, Afghanistan und nicht zuletzt Ruanda und den Kongo besucht. Das, was er dort entdeckt hat, ist dieses Thema dieses archaischen Transportgeräts Chukudu, und das hat er sehr schön in diesen Bildern, die wir uns heute Abend anschauen dürfen, dokumentiert. Ich freue mich, dass Teun selber zu diesen Geräten uns berichten wird und erklären wird, wie die Umstände dort vor Ort eben dieses scheinbar archaische Kunstobjekt, als was man es ja erstmal betrachten kann, doch tatsächlich als sehr aktives Transportmittel nutzen und es dort alles andere ist als Kunst und Objekt. Bitte.
Okay, ich spreche nicht so gut Deutsch. Ist das okay, wenn ich Englisch sprechen würde? Ja. Okay, es ist ein bisschen mehr einfach. Sebastian, wie Stefan gesagt hat, ich bin I'm a photographer. I'm specialized in war zones and I do a lot of political photography. But except for political war photography, I always try to do a little bit light subjects on the sides. And for instance, in Baghdad, I took photos of images of Saddam Hussein. I was one time in the Gaza Strip. I took photos of graffiti made by local graffiti artists. And when I was in Congo a year and a half ago to document on the war, I arrived just a day after a ceasefire had been announced, so basically I could not really make a war reportage. And then I saw these crazy wooden bicycles, and I decided to do a little reportage about that. And for some reason, the photo story I did about these wooden bicycles called the Chukudu, they were published all over the world in a lot of design magazines. And I was very lucky that, I'm very honored that people from magazine and Manufactum picked it up. And basically they told me, listen, we would love to use your photos, but we would also love to have a real Chukudu. And is there not someone, can you order a Chukudu online? And well, they were not that naive, but basically they said, can you just not have someone send a Chukudu over? And then I had to explain, listen, the Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the most dysfunctional countries on this planet. One of the most corrupt poor countries, and I've been 3 or 4 times in the Congo, so I know what I'm talking about. I said there's only one way an export has to go down, and there are maybe only 2 or 3 people on this planet that can do it, and I happen to be one of them. So, so basically they gave me a lot of money, and I went down there to pick up a Chukudu, and I had to be a little bit careful. First of all, you have to get a visum. It's an incredible pain in the ass to get a visum. You have to come up with a journalist letter, and then I was in New York, and I went to the UN, the mission to the UN, the Congolese mission, and they said, yeah, come tomorrow and then bring this and this. And then I came back the next morning with my papers. They said, listen, we are not handing out any visas for the next 3 weeks. I said, but listen, I was there yesterday. But so I had to discuss with the lady for like 2 hours. Then I got my Congo visum. The same thing for my Rwanda visum. Basically, it was already like a whole problem to get in. If you are in Congo, you need to get a permission to work as a photographer. If not, you are arrested on the spot. That was easy to do, but it cost me another couple of $100 and like 2 days waiting. Then I had to buy a Chukudu, and actually down there the Chukudu it looks pretty simple, but Congo is a very poor country, and this thing is actually a pretty ingenious means of transportation. It's a very mountainous area with volcanoes. And most, they use this thing as a transport bike. And it's very strong, you can put 600 kilos on it. And the good thing is, most of the produce they need, like bananas and firewood, come from up from the mountains, from the volcanoes, and you can just put it on the bike and just drive down and down the mountain. Sometimes you go, you wind up going 50 kilometers an hour, but luckily you have a break here. It's pretty crazy. And when it rolls down the mountain over the lava rocks, it goes chukudu, chukudu, chukudu. So that's why it's called a Chukudu. It might look simple and a little bit primitive, but it's actually down there. A lot of people don't have money for gasoline or diesel. A normal bicycle, the tires would just break, and a normal bicycle cannot carry like 500 kilos. A normal bicycle also costs like $150 imported from Japan. You can have a wheelbarrow, but going down a hill with a wheelbarrow is a lot of work. So it's actually taking the social, economical, ecological circumstances in consideration. It's like an ingeniously designed means of transportation. They have been around for like 80 years, I would say so. And of course, if you put industrial design, they can improve the Chukudu, but right now you don't have a school for industrial design in Congo. But I hope this thing will get big here, and then sooner or later maybe some students from industrial design academies will improve this Chukudu. I mean, the suspension system can use some improvements, and the wheels are not. I will make a little test drive later to show you how it's done. Basically, to get a Chukudu out of Congo was a little bit tricky, because I had to play it really cool. If I would told the authorities, listen, I'm coming here to buy a Chukudu, and actually they cost down there $35. They would have said, no, it's not possible. This is protected cultural heritage, and if you want to export a Chukudu for an exhibition, you need to get an export license, and you need to talk with the Minister of Culture in the capital Kinshasa, which happens to be 2,000 kilometers away where these Chukudus are. So basically I had to play it very cool, and basically you talk in a country where nobody has any money, and if they see an opportunity to make money, they will make money. So basically I was very lucky to find a fixer, and we tried all kind of, we were discussing how can we smuggle a Chukudu across Congo into Rwanda. And he was even talking about getting a physically disabled person. They have these kind of invalid cards, and then we would basically take the Chukudu card and basically hide it under bananas, but that was a little bit too wild an idea, and at the end we said, listen, you know what, we would just take it apart, and we just gonna take a bus ride. I say I need to go to Rwanda. The city I was going is the border Rwanda, and I just say we take this Chukudu. It's a present from a friend for my wife who is crazy about bicycles. So of course I had again multiple entry visas. You have to really think about all these little stupid things way in advance. I made one little mistake. I forgot my malaria pills, but luckily I didn't get any malaria. I've had already twice malaria. It's no fun. Basically, we drove down. We put this Chukudu in a van. We took it in 2 or 3 parts. And luckily, we had to pay only the Congolese custom officers only like $150, which I think is pretty cheap. And in Rwanda we put it at the bus station. We had to pay also for that, for storage. The next day I was able to pick it up from the bus station and put it in a bus. I had to pay a few hundred for that, of course. And then I arrived at the airport, Kigali. And I thought I had pretty good relation with the Belgium Airlines. But my friend was not there, so I had to deal with the local people, and they charged me another crazy amount of money. Which I could not withdraw from the banks because the banking machines did not accept my Belgium bank card. So basically, this Chukudu went, I packed it with the people from the airline, but it went not on the same plane. I was very nervous. It came to one plane later, 2 days later, and these were like, I should not exaggerate. I've been in life dangerous situation and been shot at, so a Chukudu is just a Chukudu, but I was pretty nervous for these 2 days, and then finally the Chukudu arrived, and then again I had to, it's a long story, but I just made it in time before the cargo closed, and I picked it up and it's all fine, and I'm very happy. The people from Manufactum and Magazine had so much trust in me. We never met, we just talked over the phone a few times, but I said, listen, the whole operation will cost this much money. And very coincidentally, my estimate was completely 100% correct. And I'm very happy it all worked out, and even I just arrived 5 minutes before 7 even. It's always just on time. But thank you very much. If you want to know more about my work, you can go to my website, teunvoeten.com. I just have a book translated in English about I have it with me. I put it later on the table so you can buy it. I stayed with homeless people in New York City for 5 months. Homeless people living in a tunnel, and I wrote an anthropological journalistic book about it, and it's just translated from English. And I will put the book later on for sale there. I'm sorry for being a little bit commercial, but it's, we all need to think a little bit commercial. So I would suggest, I would love to make a little test drive before I really start to drink, and then. Okay. And then basically Chukudu is very easy to ride, but you have to know how to balance it a little bit. So I would suggest we put it out with 2 people down there, and then I will make a little test drive. Op het Chukudu rijden, oké? We gaan even op het Chukudu rijden.
Stefan, stell dir mal vor, da sind noch 500 Kilo Bananen drauf.
500 Kilo.
Eine Runde durch den Stoff. Auch ja, Nummernschild. Licht. Licht. Das ist doch ein gelbes Ding. Ja. Allerdings.